Hello, hello, hello! Fire in the hole. So we have this set up here where this will be the positive rail, this will be the negative rail. And when the wheel turns, you can see right there that this will be the negative side and this is the positive side. And as the wheel turns, let me get the wheel turning here. So you ask yourself, what are we flipping back and forth from negative to positive? Well, it's going to be these magnets here. And how are we going to do that? Do it like this. This is how we do it. Let's go ahead and connect this side up, and we'll take a compass. Okay, we're going to check this side. That side's south, that side's north. The next one's south, the next one's north. Over here, that's south with the wire, and the next one's north. So these are already charged magnets. And the ironic thing is the way you turn the wire around the iron, even though that the end of this wire is going into this wire, I'm winding this the opposite way of how this one's wound. So in order to get a north pole out of this magnet, which is already charged to a north, I had to wind this counterclockwise. Counterclockwise will produce a north. Over here it's wound, well, let's just say here it's wound, no, from, let me see, I looked at that wrong, my bad. So the start of that one goes this way. So we're going, yeah, it's going counterclockwise, no, it's going clockwise to get north. On this side here, which is the south, you have to go counterclockwise. So to create a south pole counterclockwise, to create a north pole clockwise. Coming in this right here, the start of this coil, coming out of the end of this coil. We're going to come in here with a south. So let's go ahead and add 12-volt car battery. And there's your south. Let's go ahead and over here connect the north. Okay. Strong north, strong south. And let's go ahead and, where's that big keeper bar I had? There it is. Let's go ahead and hold that up there. And what we're going to do now is disconnect it totally. And what we have right now inside, even though these are magnets, we also have perpetual motion going on in the whole wheel itself now. Even though these are magnets, which would be some type of perpetual in itself, that the magnets are, like Ed said, are being dammed up on the ends. Not so much on the back or the sides, but on the ends. Here, we stuck that in really good. And now we have perpetual motion coming out, going around. And because this magnet is prong ends are connected to that magnet, then that magnet to that magnet, that magnet to that magnet, so forth, all the way around the whole wheel. So we have perpetual motion going all the way around that's being trapped. One thing I noticed about Ed's magnetic current, he mentions in his magnetic current here. And he says, this is why we know there's wire that's been stripped off edge wheel. And it says right here, now I will illustrate how my best machine, this guy right here, is doing it. I will use only one coil and one U-shaped permanent magnet without using the winding, these guys, that the machine uses to increase the permanent magnet strength. So, with that being said, that proves there's wire on edge wheel, and this right here is going to have this switching device hooked up to it. And the switching device will be 2 legs, and the 2 ends all the way around. There'll only be 2 ends, so they're all connected in series. And this will tell these 2 ends whether to be positive or negative. So they will be bouncing and rotating along the field around the wheel. We'll have electric magnets and a combination, like Ed says here in his magnetic strength. Let's get to that section, because he talks about what he found the most efficient. And that's right here when he talks about where he says, now you and the field magnet are a generator. Suppose you had a wheel, this guy, and many coils around the wheel turning. Then you would be making all kinds of light. Do not make the machine. I have already have an application for patent in the patent office. I made 10 different machines to make magnetic currents, but I found a combination between field magnets and coils. He's relating field magnets to electric magnets and coils, which would be just regular coils, pickup coils. So on the field magnets, if we put these 2 of these PMHs or 3 or 4, whatever we do, maybe just 2, in series with this, then every time this is flopping, this would be flopping as well. And as I increase the voltage, I can increase the speed of the wheel. So, and then you have pickup coils will be collecting energy. And then we're going to be dealing next with what goes on the pipe. And that section there that's on that pipe, it's hard to actually see, but you could see that in his paperwork that that there's some type of jar, and it's 2 of them. There's 2 rings up there. So I believe at that point we're separating. We're concentrating, separating, and then dividing. And that's what we're going to do with Ed's wheel. And we're going to get back to pretty much the basics of what he's written in magnetic current, because I believe he's talking about the wheel itself. And we'll start the process and see if we can get this thing running on its own. The difference of how I was running it is I wasn't able to switch these to be different poles. They're always firing on their own, and I didn't have a switching device to have this fire on the right magnet. Now with this device, it will be doing that, and by it doing that, I'll be able now to control what's firing and when it has to fire, the speed, and how much energy we're storing up and reusing back into the system. And here's where it gets fun and complicated, because we want this PMH to be pulling these magnets. So when these magnets are turning as well. And the way these should be wound is that these are going to be the opposite of what these are. And this way, we constantly, to tell you, I'm not sure if I even need a PMH to pull the wheel. As long as this is rotating its poles, and I just had iron up there, this is going to pull itself to the iron. But I believe that may not work, but it's worth a thought and a try when I build the system. But with these being in series with the system and being the opposite poles, so these are always pulling towards their pole, always. When this is flopping, and they're switching their poles, we should be able to get perpetual. And on top of that, there's so much energy that's being stored up in the iron that Ed talks about. We're going to work a way around the wheel and see how much iron we have and how we're going to pull it. And you guys have a great day. Peace out, my bro hands.